Good morning. Here we are. This is part 7 in our beginner layouts of the track I'm doing, um, and show you a little bit of progress. Last time we saw the track, all we had was track down and some houses and kind of some of the houses set up. That was before Christmas, and here we are. I've done a little work since then. I've been in the last week. Built our tunnel and mountain and some other little items and moved some things around. We'll start off with what we've moved around. I think last time we had the coal chute, the tipple right here over at the other end of the track, but now we've moved it over so that we have and set up sort of a maintenance track, maintenance siding right here with the water tower and the tipple and a little freight office down there and an extra little house to work with. Also, we've moved the repair shop down to the end right here. It's going to set up a little bit better. As you can see, we haven't done any of all we have is basic setup. We haven't done any roads or anything right yet. But we've got a little signal tower down here. Downtown area is coming together. We've got some extra buildings. We've got a theater and a firehouse, and we've moved our factory a little bit down here. We've got a couple of different factories going. We've got a brewery right here on the main line, and then off on this siding here, industrial siding, we've moved our wood manufacturing up a little bit. And then we've changed out, I don't know, on the last one we had a different coal tipple, but we got a nice one for Christmas here, the blue coal one by Model Power, I believe. And we have moved, it fits better into what we had planned on doing for the mountain here, so, and the tunnel. So as you can see, we have moved along and progressed nicely on the tunnel. It was not the easiest thing, I'll tell you that right now. But I started out with cardboard. Probably should have taken a picture, but I did a tunnel out of cardboard strips, so it was totally sealed all the way around with blue painter's tape. And then over the top of that, I laid some newspaper on some of the heights, just wadded up newspaper, and also some foam, things like that. And I started at this end, coming around where this tunnel entrance is right here. And just started laying plaster cloth. It took about a roll and a half of plaster cloth to do that. And then over the top of that, I finished it off to seal it off with plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris was pretty tough to use, actually. Ended up, you waste about half of it because when you smear it on, it's drying. You only get about a 6-minute time, but it is half the price of Hydrocal or Sculptamold. Any of that. I bought it at Home Depot, works fine, comes in the same. It's just DAP plaster of Paris, as you can see down here. But you got to mix it fast and work it fast. It doesn't matter how watery you make it, it still gets very dry very quickly. And in the front, I had a couple of tunnel entrances, as you can see. This is the entrance to the tunnel right here, and it's really just glued to the front. And then over the top, I'm in process right now. This is all going to be grass over the top of that and trees. We're going to try to hide the tunnel entrance with some trees and brush. But on the top, we're setting up a farm. And this inside edge right here, as you can see, is a rock face that we colored with earth scape, I believe it is. Earth colors. It's just different stains, and you run them together. But it gives you a nice finish on it, actually. And then on the top, I painted it with some brown paint, like I did this same color right here, that I covered the entire surface with, and and then sprinkled grass on top, and tried to get it when it was still wet. Not very successful at that. So when I went to water it down, I sprayed it, and that's not obviously the way to do it because it balls it up, but it'll be fixable. But this will be pasture up on top right here. This end right here is going to be, rock and dirt and trees. I'm going to try to set up some bit of trees up here short around this edge to kind of hide this right here. As you look from the front, it'll hide this scene up here, and then you get to the side, you'll see we'll have fencing around here and have it's still wet here, by the way. I just wet it this morning. You'll have a pasture with fence around it, cattle in there and horses. And then over here we have our farm setup for that. There's a lot of things in a small space. As you can see, we haven't done the backdrop either. I've just got something up there right now to hold it together. But as you can see, it's right above. It's going to be right above. I think it'll look fine. It'll look good. And then we'll have some rocks mixed in, as you can see right here. See, the rock is pointing through, and we colored it up. Haven't done this one yet. I'm do things kind of backwards a little bit sometimes. Over here, on this entrance, we were a little bit wide coming out of the turn, and it was a little wider than the tunnel entrance. So what I did is I cut the tunnel in half, the portal I cut in half, and then I glued it to the surface, and I used some molded rock that I've done right here and filled in the center of it so that it looks like they built around it. I tried to do it as best I could do on that. And then some rock up on top with grass, and we'll have some brush hanging down over the side, over the front of it here a little bit, and then building up into, it'll be some brush up here, along here, and then some trees up right up here. This is going to be a road going up the side of the mountain to access the top. Just going to be a dirt road right here. I bought some fine buff ballast to do that with, make it more sandy. And I'm going to be putting obviously another layer of grass on here because what came off, I want more on there. But I finished the front, put some smoke stuck to the side of it, tried to make it look like that. And these earth washes work real well. Around the side here, I'm still working on this, but I'm going to do, instead of having the fascia come up the side here and cover the side of the tunnel, I decided to do a little vignette of a fishing cabin and just a little log cabin for fishing. And I'm going to have water. I saw a method to do, I'll have water coming down here, a little waterfall, and then down the bottom is going to be this will be a lake area right here, and then coming out through the river will be flowing out. A little more grass up on the flats here just to make that, but this just a little log cabin and then some figures, maybe a little bridge or something, and they'll be fishing in down here. So that's coming along. I'll probably put some more dirt color paint along here, some more vegetation, but I try to, as you can see, the rock comes down on the side. So it's moving along with moving things around. As you build one thing, some things don't work, so you move to another. But I try to leave some unfinished to show you where we were at. But it's working real well. It's coming together. Also, we did pick up a new loco from a little train shop in Georgia here in Marietta. It's just an E6, old E6. L&N, yeah, the road name is a little off, but it's just a analog. I'm working on converting it over to digital, but it runs well. It's got Mars light in it. It was a good price, and it pulls a good, no problem pulling the trains. Also, coming across the turnouts, no issues there, whereas the smaller trains kind of have a tendency to bind up on that. But it runs well, and it's just sitting here waiting right now, because we have the tracks. Also, one other thing we did is move the track a little bit, mainly to get it a little closer in, make a little more room out in the space here and fill in. It was easy to move the track. It peeled right up. I've still got to paint this surface right here where the track was, and then that'll give some more industry space right there. So, well, that kind of concludes where we're at right here. Went through a lot of plaster and a lot of plaster cloth. It works well, but you don't know what's going to happen. Luckily, hopefully, most of these imperfections and irregularities will just look like dirt when it gets all done. But it's coming together well. The rock and everything is looking pretty good. So until next time, y'all have a good New Year.